So, ladies and gentlemen, Games Workshop has put Carl Benjamin, Sargon of Akkad, in a Warhammer 40k novel. Yeah, I said it. Very bizarre. Quite an unusual thing that happened. It's fascinating, and it just goes to show how Games Workshop has just fallen to woke ideology, quite frankly. And a bunch of total idiots have infiltrated it. So we'll dive into this. I will say, just as a quick one as well, I am going to be on the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, which is Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad's sort of project. His website, his podcast. I'm going to be appearing live in studio tomorrow. So if you watch that live, yeah, I'll be there. So should be good fun. Anyway, this was a thing. So Mike Brooks is a Games Workshop author, and it sort of flew under the radar for a while. It's in a 2020 book called Necromunda: Road to Redemption, where he basically got called out for a lot of things. So Chainsword 40k says, just a friendly reminder that Mike Brooks' new novel Lilith Hesperax, Queen of Knives, will be released later this year. I won't tell you what to do, but I'm not buying it. Mike Brooks is obsessed with gender identity and one of the most woke Black Library authors. Here are some examples. I just wrote a whole bunch of stuff. You know, basically said that orcs support Black Lives Matter, trans pride and all this kind of crap like that. Just all of this nonsense, new pronouns, gender identity, all this kind of crap. You know, you name it, it's all this woke shit put into his novels. But then the weird one, Road to Redemption, writing a villain known as Sargon of Akkad, which is an obvious jab at Sargon of Akkad. Just super weird. And then obviously it got picked up. I mean, here's the excerpt, by the way. Here's what it is. And I do find it funny. They try to villainize people, but they always come across cooler because left-wing people don't know how to do it. Sargon of Akkad bellowed with rage, his voxcaster amplifying it until his war cry was nearly a weapon in its own right and lumbered into a charge, both chain axes revving up until the whirl of their blades became a banshee scream. The short of it is this Sargon of Akkad character jumps in to try and kill people and gets killed, basically. But it's very clearly a riff on Sargon of Akkad. And obviously, Carl Benjamin noticed this, was like, I'm officially canon in the Warhammer universe, because, yeah, it does seem to be that way. And then finally, it was like, what a cool description. Obviously, read the description. Read the description, was like, oh, if anyone can... you know, write the description down, I'll make him and paint him. So this is kind of one of those things where it sort of crosses over to our real world and people that, you know, we interact with and things like that. And as Chris Toki writes in the chat, it's just petty and it's sad and it's creative bankruptcy. But it doesn't make people look bad, you know, the people that they're trying to make look bad. So that's all I've got. It's just an odd one, but it just goes to show how sort of far Games Workshop has fallen. What do you think, Culture?
Games Workshop has fallen very, very far, but they've been falling very, very far for a while. It just wasn't noticed by the not hardcore people. I mean, you know, it's, you know, they've been starting to lean towards, you know, the messaging and everything else. And, you know, the writing was on the wall even over 6 months ago, because when you see the actions of, you know, the primaries being to resign and sell their shares in advance of their leaving, that's not a good sign. You know, you kind of want to finish on a good footing, right? But, you know, certain parties aren't doing that. Not to mention the fact that, you know, the fact that they're pushing these things and gaslighting their customers is not helping. And then, you know, making it personal and allowing for that in your lore, that's a real problem. You know, and now you've kind of not only demonized him in your heart if you're this author, but you've demonized him, in writing, and that'll be, there forever. So it's odd, to say the least. But honestly, with Warhammer, it's just kind of a bummer. I mean, this was, one of the things with all the lore and, just very well done and its own politics within the game, is the only thing that you should be concerned with, and not bring the outside world inside something like this. It just like with any other form of entertainment, it just ruins it.
Well, the thing is, when you do that, right, and this is what I say about everything. So, like, when you bring in real world divisive politics on, into these kind of things, you ruin what is otherwise common ground for people to join and just enjoy. You can be any side of the political spectrum and enjoy Warhammer. Of course you can. You can be left-wing and enjoy it. You can be right-wing and enjoy it. You can be liberal and enjoy it. You can be anything. And too often, we have become too tribalistic in everything, where there's no common ground on anything anymore. It'd be like me going to a car event, right? Going to a car show, for instance, and it having weird divisive politics randomly thrown at it. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm out of here. Just like, why? I'm not interested in this crap. Because we can all just enjoy these things without the need for divisive politics to get involved. Like, we should have more common ground, like more interaction, more common ground. But when, the likes of these kind of companies get involved, always left-wing nonsense. It's always left-wing nonsense. It's always divisive. Terrible. Awful. I don't know what you think about that. Culture.
Well,
I'm gone. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, what do you want me to say?
Well, I don't know. Just continue the conversation, obviously.
Well, no, I mean, look, I know Tom's awful quiet on this subject, but he should probably try to weigh in a little bit.
Gone. He says, "Be right back." He's gone. So I'm telling you, he's gone.
All right. Look, I'm going to take it back to this, and you're always right when you talk about bringing in the real world. And again, I mean, we have different perspectives on how you could do it effectively, but anytime that's done, you have the time. You no longer are timeless. Timelessness in entertainment is the most important thing. You want staying power. You don't want to lean into things that have all the lifespan of like a jar of mayonnaise on a counter. It just. I think that's ultimately the thing that just undoes it. And first of all, I like Carl. So it's and some people may not like his policies, but I love I think he's brilliant. And I just look, I just can't stand for, and this is the thing I want to focus on in this conversation. I just can't stand for this being done this way, especially with such malice. I think that's the thing that rubs me wrong at the end of the day. And and when it comes to modern day stuff, I mean, you completely eliminate the escapism. This world, you've got space Yahtzees, space fascists. That's what Warhammer is. So sorry.
Yeah, you remove the escapism from it all.
Yeah.
Just sad.
It is.
Just a real quick topic to go through there anyway. Moving on.
I want just to add to that, I want the show to be good. I want what Henry Cavill is working on to be good. But it seems like he's getting hamstrung with a lot of garbage now. Just like what happened with Witcher. And this isn't going to help it, right? This kind of garbage in the background being supported by Games Workshop, it's not going to help it. It's not going to help it. Anyway.
Yeah, agreed.